Now, this video's title isn't some sort of riddle or, meant to be like a Chuck Norris joke or something. Uh, Chuck Norris doesn't like YouTube videos. YouTube videos like Chuck Norris. Today's episode is about the word like, its history, and we're going to ask the cards to tell us what likes us. Confused? Well, you're probably not the only one, but just stick around. I'll explain, and hopefully it'll make sense by the end of the episode. I'm John Paulus. Thank you for listening to Life's Potluck Buffet. I really like that you do. Or should I say, it likes me that you do. All right, well, let's get down to brass tacks. Get down to business. The use of like in the title of this video is an obsolete one, where like means to please. So you'll see this a lot in older, not Old English, but, well, we'll put that aside. You'll see this a lot in older modern English, like in Shakespeare. I'll give you some examples. So, King Lear, Act 2, Scene 2. Cornwall says, "Why dost thou call him a knave? What's his offense?" Kent replies, "His countenance likes me not." So you could see there from that example that Cornwall asks, why you calling this guy names, and he says, well, I don't like his face. Right? His face does not please me would be a more, I think, awkward way to say it, but likes is a good way to say it. But notice how it's reversed from what we do now. That's the one of the obsolete ways of using like is to say that something likes you means something pleases you, or that you like something. And I'll give you another example from Shakespeare. Iago in Othello says to Cassio, "Here at the door, I pray you, call them in." And Cassio replies, "I'll do it, but it dislikes me." See how what Cassio's saying there is, okay, I'll call them in, but I don't like it. But again, you see, dislike means I don't like. But instead of you being the subject, I don't like you. I am the subject in that sentence, right? And it is the object. So in modern English, because Shakespeare's modern English is just old, obsolete forms of modern English, and some of it's still contemporary. In fact, a lot of the uses of like in Shakespeare are ones that you know from everyday uses in English. This is just one of them that you probably don't use since the English language has changed the way it works. It's gone from the thing that you like being the subject. Like in Spanish, Gustar does this. Me gusta is I like it, right? It's a mí me gusta. That's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same principle. And if you want to say in Shakespearean English, I like something a lot, or that sounds like a plan, you can say it likes us well. Oh, if you're a king, because you use the royal we. But that's Claudius from Hamlet. He's a king, so that's why the royal we. So he's just saying, yeah, that sounds fine to me. So when I say this video likes me or this video likes me well, I'm just saying it pleases me. I like this video. It's that simple. Does this video like thee well? If so, the like button clicks on you. I think that was just kind of vaguely Yoda talk. It doesn't really mean anything. Anyway, like is a very versatile word in English because it has so many uses as a noun, like how many likes does this video have? And we know it as a verb already. We've talked about that a little bit. I like this video. There's the use as a verb. It's used as a comparative, preposition, adverb, adjective, so many uses. Something called a quotative. So, for example, when you say, he was like, how many miles is it until we get there? When we say he was like, meaning he said, or he went, or he was all like, what are you talking about? I don't know about that. That's using like in that way. It's introducing a direct speech. So it's very functional. In fact, it's so functional that we use it as a filler all the time. In this video, I've probably used it as a filler like 100 times. And that sometimes it means, as I just said, as I just used it, it means it approximately. But a lot of times it just doesn't mean anything. It's just a filler. And that became very famous in the Valley, San Fernando Valley speech of the 1980s that was famously parodied when you say, like every other word. And that is the use of like as a filler. And that has a very long history, not just in the metropolitan area around Los Angeles. It may go back further in some dialects of the British Isles and Scotland and Wales and Ireland as well, where it's used as just a filler. And in those places, it still is, as it is in the English-speaking world of North America. And the history of that goes through various, say, movements as well. Often people point to beatnik characters and their use of the word like as a filler. And the most famous kind of example of this is the kind of carryover figure from the beatnik period in the Scooby-Doo cartoons, Shaggy, who says, like Scoob, like, are you like scared of what's going on here? Like Scoob. I'm not even going to try. That's not, no. We're not going to do any Casey Kasem impressions today. So, like is important. And in other languages, there are similar words that are used as fillers that are, to my mind, when I think what is to me familiar in another language that works like, I think off the top of my language-loving lid, I think it is yani in Arabic, which means, well, it means. So you know what I mean. It means that too, and it also means a lot of the uses of like, for example, as a filler, just if you hear people speaking Arabic colloquially, in many Arabic dialects, although some of them are so far apart they really are almost separate languages. This is the thing I was talking about with some of those languages of the Italian peninsula that are actually not just dialects. They're actually they're languages, like the Venetian language or the Neapolitan language, aren't just dialects. They're a language unto their own. They get far enough away. The same is true with a lot of colloquial local Arabic languages in the Arabic-speaking world. Almost, not mutually intelligible. So that shows you that the distance that you might have there. So, but yani is important there because it really functions like, and it even functions in a way that like functions sort of in English as a moderate love for something, or an indifference to something. In English we have to use tone. Say, yeah, I like it. You have to kind of just make it sound like that, meaning it's okay. And yani can mean that. I saw a person wrote an article about what yani means, which is funny because in Arabic that'd be what yanis, what yani. And this person translated it as meh. Yeah, meh. MEH in English. That's good. I like that. I think like is a little stronger than that most of the time, although I say, I like it. Yeah. That's you could make it reach that point of indifference. And that's why we need to reduplicate it when we use it colloquially to talk about, do you really like someone romantically? In many parts of the English-speaking world, we say, do you like him or do you like him? Or sometimes I would say, do you like him or do you like him like him? That's the reduplication I would use. But it depends on who you're talking to and what dialect of English they speak. I think for me, I would say, do you like him or do you like him like him? And I'm Yanni. That's what that's means you are romantically interested in somebody. So in honor of the word like, we're going to do like we do every day, and we are going to ask the cards what they think about all of this. And the cards are like, oh, this again? So, yellow lemons, blue dumplings, magenta noodles. Cards, tell us something. Oh, this is tough to see. What is the highest? Okay, it's this one. All right, here we go. It's card number 1. Everything you give effort to is work. From the moment you wake up until you go to bed, you are working. Paid, unpaid, visible, invisible, fun, or misery. Think of the energy that you are expending as work, whether mental, physical, or emotional. Yes, even the littlest things. Understanding work as all action is the first step to liberation from the idea that work is just that required drudgery of life. Well, like it or hate it, that's the card for today. So think about one bit of unexpected work that you did today and honor the effort and energy you put into it. So if this video liked you, hit that like button, and if you want to subscribe, then hit the subscribe button. And tell me if it worked. It should have. If you aren't subscribed, it should have done the rainbow colored subscription thing. But just let me know. I like your chances of having a great day today, and I like my chances of seeing you next time on Life's Potluck Buffet. I almost said Life's Potluck Buffet.